Hello, Monarch fans, and welcome back to the Hudson Homers podcast. We are fresh somewhat back from the Sun Belt tournament. Had a great time down in Montgomery. Got CB here with me as always, and Coach Finwood has joined. CB, I know you were watching from afar, but how are things for you last week?
It was great. I mean, obviously we wanted some more wins, but proud of the guys. They fought hard. That it's another top 25 win to start the thing. It was great, and just some of the things that kind of happened all year happened some more. And again, I'm sure Finney will tell you better than anybody. It was a crazy and unique year, and these guys really fought hard through it.
Yeah, they did, and when you go into a tournament, you're trying to figure out the best way to give you guys a chance to win the tournament. And we just felt like we had to win those first two games to have any chance, because once we got in the losers bracket, our pitching depth was bound to catch up with us, right? And the best way to win the first game was to put Ben in the bullpen, and Dylan and him threw great. Gave up 4 hits, and he went 4-2. We felt like, okay, that part of the plan worked. We got our most experienced guy who has beaten Southern Miss twice in his career going against them. Unfortunately, they hit every single mistake he made out of the ballpark. They were just a wrecking ball that day. And their senior righty, we just couldn't do much with him. He was really good. He's throwing the ball in a shoebox that day. And you get behind by too much against a team like that, you're going to be in trouble because they got a bunch of good arms too. And Blake was uncharacteristically a little out of sorts. I thought, misplayed a bunt and had some things happen that sped him up. So he might have been a little bit too fired up. But I know they were fired up to face him because they're not dumb. They know he beat them earlier in the year. And, I thought they had a heck of a club. And, on that note, you got to really tip your hat to Coastal.
I was shocked.
Won the regular season and the tournament. It's pretty impressive, but that hadn't been done in a while. They just pitched great, and they got timely hits and played really solid baseball.
That one inning where they scored all those runs off of Southern Miss is just like, yep, this is what they do. They take advantage of those mistakes. I mean, and it seemed like Southern Miss doesn't make many, and it was just like boom, 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 every single one of them.
Yeah, and then the arms make it hold up, man. I mean, the couple of those lefties they brought in, like they hadn't even pitched in the tournament yet, and they're just, 2 of those guys would have been our Friday and Saturday guy,
right?
So. Yeah, they've got pitching galore, and so they won it and deservedly so.
Yeah, and being down there, I just wanted to take it all in. I want to see as many games as possible, see as many guys out there, and you really get an appreciation for how just damn good the Sun Belt is when you go out to the play-in games on Tuesday night, and you're seeing studs all over the place. I mean, the kid from Texas State goes CG first game of the play-in. I mean, you just knew the talent level there is different, and you could see it come through with Coastal and Southern Miss. But the scores may look a little funny, but I don't think the gap in talent there is as big as people think. That's how good the Sun Belt is. If you're a tenth of a step below another team, they can put it on you in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, Marshall did that to Louisiana twice, right?
Yeah.
Marshall was playing real well at the end of the year. In fact, other than our series where we beat them, they didn't lose the series the second half of the season and swept 3 of them. So, but it's not a mystery. You get a good coaching staff, you build them a nice ballpark, you can get some good players and have a chance to win. We're hoping that's the formula for us moving forward as well.
I think Blevins is out of eligibility too, so I think that's going to be it for him in the Marshall.
Year.
Oh, he's got one more. Oh,
one more.
Yeah.
Jeez.
One more year, yeah. So they got all their pitching, starting pitch. They got most of their pitching back, so they'll lose some hitters, but they'll be tough on the mound again next year.
Yeah, well, speaking of tough on the mound, Dylan Brown had a pretty incredible performance to open the tournament for us. I mean, he was commanding on the mound. He was intimidating. He was stomping around. Troy was doing everything they could to break up his momentum, and it just made him more angry. But a lot of people may not know, and I only found this out because I saw a screenshot of TrackMan. There were 14 pitches that were called a ball that were a strike in that game, and he still put up the numbers he did.
Yeah. I thought the zone was really tight in that game, and he didn't let it affect him. It affected a little bit of what he was doing, but he didn't let it affect the big picture. And the only runs he gave up were that 2-out single to Brian slug. He just was really on top. And of course, Ben Moore came in throwing buzz, kind of like he did last year in the tournament against Louisiana.
Yeah.
Very eerily similar performance. And I saw a couple of their hitters walk back to the bench, and you could see guys, hey, what's he got that kind of thing? And they're like, yeah, I don't know. The one guy was like, it's going like this.
It's breaking 3 or 4 times.
It's moving in 4 dimensions. It's breaking the time-space barrier.
Yeah. And he was throwing 90% fastballs. So when he gets it going like that, that was good. And Luke Waters had a big senior at bat, off their closer with 2 outs, gets down 2 strikes, fouls a bunch of pitches off, finally gets a slider he could hit. It gets us a 2-out single. We made it hold up. So it was a good win for us to start the tournament out.
Yeah.
What did you think of that? As Gary said, kind of them trying to mess with Dylan's timing, where that rule where the clock doesn't start until they are actually facing the pitcher. That was at first I didn't really know what they were doing, but I mean it's one of those things like from a gamesmanship perspective, it makes sense. I mean it's kind of a little weird, but anything to throw a pitcher's timing off, right?
Yeah, I thought they were manipulating the rule because the rule says ready and aware. Your batter has to be ready and aware. Define that as in his stance looking at the pitcher. Most people, as soon as the head turns towards the pitcher's allowed to start pitching. They were like glancing at him and then looking down.
Right.
A couple times he started and they're like, And I was like, how's he supposed to know which one's for real? It's like the boy who cried wolf. Like, you're letting him do this, and it's not right. So, tell the batters when they look at the pitcher, he can pitch. And Meyer was one of the ones that was doing it, which was irritating. But Dylan did a good job against those guys. Worked his way through that, and once we got the lead, Ben was pretty special.
I mean, I think that's the best part is that, you see what Dylan Brown's made of right there because he didn't care. Like, it's a little annoying. Okay. Is it my timing not exactly what I want? Okay. But you know what? I got this heat today. It doesn't matter what kind of nonsense you do. And that was really cool to see.
Yeah. And he was pitching, he had a good fastball, but he had his best fastball. And he was, again, on a day short rest, coming off a outing on 2 days short rest. So he'd had a few back-to-back weeks of not his normal schedule. And we were thinking if we could get 6 out of him, that'd be great. And he finished the 6th, and he came in and said, I got one more. And, man, when guys get to their point in their career like Dylan and Blake, and they come in and say that to me, I'm almost always going to let them go because they've earned it. And I think that's one of the cool things about having that relationship with your guys. Like a freshman could come in and say that, and I'll be like, "No, you're done." But a guy like that's earned the right to have that conversation. And so we said, all right. I told Mike, looking at the lineup, I said, all right, he's going to go back out, but here's the compromise. Ben's going to be ready for the first baseman. What's his name? The choice.
Cavill.
Yeah, Cavill. No matter what, no matter how many outs, nobody on, somebody on, he's up third. So Ben strikes the first 2 guys out. Of course, then we come out and what are you taking him out for, you dummies? In the on deck circle. And he had a couple good at bats off Ben. I think he walked once, got hit by a pitch, something like that. When Ben came in, he watched him throw a couple warm ups, and he kind of went like this, like help him. And of course, he struck him out
in 3 pitches.
Set the tone for the rest of his outing, and I thought it took the air right out of them. So that worked out in our favor, and it doesn't always work that way. And I told Mike when we took Dylan out, I said, you never know if it's going to work out or not, but it's the right move. He's at 112 pitches on short rest. He did his job. We got a guy loaded up, ready to go. If he does his job, we're going to win. So,
I think there's another element of that too, of him getting the opportunity to kind of walk off the mound to the ovation, like pitching coach coming to get him, Ben gets the last out. I think, being that ended up being his last time on the mound for ODU, I think that was kind of a good emotional moment for him anyway.
Yeah, that's a good thought. I agree with you. That's different than just not going back out for the seventh.
Yeah.
Right. You get to come off the mound, the ODU fans, your teammates, get to acknowledge that performance publicly. And so that's cool.
Did you realize that you had not had a guy reach 100 strikeouts since you've been here?
No.
And it's not. I don't think it's anything you guys are doing. I think it's just a factor of guys throwing less innings. He did like 20, 30 less innings than some of those other guys too.
Right.
He's really struck a lot of guys out this year.
Yeah, I would have thought maybe Hunter Gregory in 21.
Yeah, he was the last highest one.
Yeah.
85 to 86 a couple of years, and 19 and 21.
I mean, 100 strikeouts, a lot of strikeouts in the college.
It's a lot. Yeah. That's what made me start about halfway through the year. I started kind of looking up, like, okay, he's on pace, because I was like, this is a ton of strikeouts. When he had like 50 and like 30 innings, I was like, man, this is we might be onto something.
Yeah, that's impressive. And and Blake getting the his 53rd start, that's pretty cool too. That's
really cool. Yeah,
you got to start a lot as a freshman, to get in that space.
Yeah.
Like, you got to stay mostly healthy, obviously too, because I was talking to like Ryan Moore, like he's was here 4 years, but of course he only had like 38 or maybe below 40s, but
that many his freshman year.
One of his years was COVID.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
he only played 16 games that year, so he got shortened.
Yeah, that was another one too with Blake. I was like, the same thing that you just said. Like, not a lot of guys start all 4 years. Like, let me looking this up, and it's funny when you just people are like, where do you find all these stats? I'm like, I just kind of have a thought and then start finding some numbers. Like, it's not like there's any magic trick to it. They're like I have to look down year by year. I'm like, yep, that's it. You got to be committed.
Can't be a quitter.
Be willing to dig in there. I think we're going to get some updates on some of those record books here over the summer from what I was told. So I'm pretty excited about that so that everyone can see it. But I got kind of a unique experience before the second Troy game of being down in the dugout about an hour before you all were playing. Got to have a conversation with Marin, and we're just talking about like the three starters you have this year all have just really awesome, just kind of gritty stories, right? You got Ben dealing with the migraines, trying to come back from that, but still didn't miss a start. You have Dylan, who kind of had some ups and downs and started peaking again at the end of last year, rolled that into a great season this year. And then Blake, great freshman year, injuries, kind of started coming back last year, came back this year. You had three pretty tough dudes at the top of your rotation throughout this year that gritted out a lot.
Yeah, they were good, man, and they gave us a chance, each time out. I wish we'd have had one more, because I really would have liked to have seen Ben be in the bullpen all year. I think we'd have won, a handful more games.
I said that the other day too. It's like him out of the bullpen would have been something special.
We just didn't have anybody step up and take that role. So, part of it, hindsight's 2020, right? Like, part of me goes, well, we didn't win that much on Friday anyway, so maybe we should have kept him there and just gave away Friday. Chance right there. And those are the thoughts that go through your head, right there. And I think, but for Ben's career, everybody wants to see those guys be able to start. And he had some good starts, not a ton of them, but he had some good starts. And he finished the year throwing, a couple scouts came up to me and said, man, he really helped himself in the conference tournament. Not just the first side, but coming back 2 days later and still doing that kind of stuff, even though he gave up a couple hits. So I'm hopeful that that'll translate into a better opportunity for him professionally. And, I think he's a reliever. I tell people that ask me that, everybody wants to be a starter, but I think he's going to be really valuable as a reliever, and I think he'll be one of those guys you could look up and see him on TV someday, and he's throwing 98, 99 miles an hour from the left side. I really do.
I look about like Noah Dean, where like he's been starting in the minors, but I think at a certain point they're going to be like, all right, get in that pen, you're in the big leagues next week.
Yeah,
that's how it happens for those guys.
Yep, exactly.
And he was like 97.8, 98.1 in that second time that he came back out, because I was able to kind of look over the shoulder and see some TrackMan from my perch up there. And it was the TrackMan miles per hour were a little bit higher than what was shown on the scoreboard. I was like, man, Ben is throwing gas on 2 days rest. Like,
yeah,
that was fun to see.
Yeah, he's very capable of that. And Dylan, of course, I think pitched himself into being, I would, if I was a betting man, and the draft's so unpredictable, but I think he somewhere in that 4th to 7th round range, and hopefully better than that. But I would bet on that. And I think Blake certainly pitched himself into being drafted this year. With seniors, it's always all over the place. Like, somebody might really like him and take him in the 8th round just to save money on their pool. He's one of those guys that's good enough to be in that conversation. They don't do that with not guys that are awesome.
Right.
So he'll be a later round, later teens, and go with somebody that way.
Yeah, it was great to watch all three of them throw throughout this year and then the conference tournament, but also just I think they carry a little bit of leadership either in the bullpen or in the dugout. Blake specifically, I mean, the next day after that, rough outing against Southern Miss, I mean, he was the same Blake. He was getting guys fired up, getting guys ready. Like, there was no drop in his demeanor or attitude at all.
Nah, he's awesome, man. That kid's been through so much, the highs and the lows, and through it all, he's just bled ODU blue, and he's the biggest fan of everybody else when he's not pitching. And I could always sleep well at night no matter what happened when I knew he pitched for us that day, because I knew he gave it everything he had, and I felt good about it. And I know, that kid leaves here with just a really neat story, a really neat legacy, and I can't imagine a better guy to have leading the pitching staff and leading our team in a year where we had to do all the things we had to do. Like, his energy never wavered. He was always that guy and bringing it and helping others be better. And his care factor is just off the charts. He's an amazing kid. We'll miss him, but he's left his mark on all of us. And I told the guys, I said, you need to remember this. Like, I'll always remember this team. It's almost like the Junction Boys movie. Like, the other teams that are going to come take advantage of this multi-million-dollar facility are going to do it because you guys drug your butts 14,000 miles, took it on the chin for in 25. And I'm going to remind them of that very often, how appreciative they should be. And all y'all come back that are leaving and come get in this facility and check it out. I saw something that I thought was really cool somewhere along the line this year in the office complex. They had a board, and any alum could come back. Any baseball alum, when you came back, you signed the board and your name and your position, year you played. And I thought that was what a neat way to connect to the current program. And when they started it, they had their seniors do it, before they left. But then anybody that comes back that hasn't done it gets to do that. And I think we'll put that up somewhere. I think that's really neat.
Find a way to
but it'd be
make
cooler.
sure it stays on the wall.
It'd be cooler right there, and people could see it when they come in and that kind of stuff. It'd be great if you could have it somewhere in the stadium, but then anybody would sign it.
That thing.
You want to have a little bit of
Who's this Ronald McDonald guy?
Right.
CB Wilkins, was he a left-handed?
Yeah. And I got eligibility. I'm a lefty. This arm is fresh. The body's not, but the arm is.
Some neat ways to get the guys connected. The former players certainly feel that way. I think is always valuable.
CB Wilkins, he's a great clubhouse guy, trash body.
There you go. They say he's a glue guy.
Glue guy. Yes.
Yes.
I will be a glue guy. I can be screaming on the bench. I can do that.
He's a glue guy.
I think we'd be on the list for the strength and conditioning teams. We'd just be running poles all day long.
Oh dear. It wouldn't be all day long. It might be like about 10 minutes.
We're both out. Well, Finney, you had a great recommendation on the coffee place. I think it was Prevail Union is what it's called down there. That was every morning cold brew and one of those bacon and egg Danishes they had. Man,
yeah. They got that cool little back patio area. So I found that. I was out for a walk one morning, our first year down there, early in the morning, and it started raining. And I was just looking for a place to duck in and get out of the rain. And I walked in, I was like, "Ooh, that smells like coffee." So I had Apple Pay, so I was like, "I'm getting a cup of coffee." And so now we all always like go in there, and it's a good spot. So it's you saw it, Gary. It's a great little setup logistically, I think, for players, parents, coaches, teams, just because of the convenience and being able to walk everywhere. So it makes for a nice tournament.
Yeah, I mean, everything is kind of right there in a little 8-block radius. Like it's a 3-minute walk to the stadium. You've got all the stuff in the actual hotel, which is a really nice hotel too. They got a spa and a conference center and all that. But then walk right across the street and you got 3 or 4 really nice bars, restaurants, all that. I closed down Aviator a couple of nights. I didn't know that in Montgomery, last call is not like a suggestion like it is in Virginia. Like you order your last drink. Then 15 minutes later, security comes and kicks you out. Like you are dumped out of that place. Wow. But you can open container anywhere in downtown Montgomery. So they serve it to you in plastic cups. You walk right out the door with it.
No kidding. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yes, I thought I was being set up to like, hey, I'm going to walk out there and get an open container charge in Alabama. But no, it's legit.
You get thrown in one of them jails in Alabama, they might never find you.
You'd be on the chain gang with Cool Hand Luke.
People are like, where's the live stream? We don't know. We haven't heard from Gary in about 16 hours.
Gary's
I
out there
could have sworn the bus was driving back and we saw a guy in an orange jumpsuit look just like him picking up trash on 65.
Picking it up there, boss.
Yeah, picking it up there, boss.
Oh.
Well, I think we'll have, obviously at the end of every year, we were talking about before the show started, you're going to have personnel changes. Some are mutual, some are, one side or the other, and it's just part of the business, and as well as, the incoming guys. And I think one of those summer episodes could be just about the incoming guys, because we don't put those out like we used to because people use it against your recruiting and all that other stuff. So, but at some point in the summer, we usually do a press announcement with the whole class, including the portal guys and all of that. So that could be a fun, maybe right after we do that, it'd be a fun, topic for the podcast as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've heard you fans, you want more ODU baseball content outside of the season, and we're going to bring that to you. So over the summer, probably do one episode a month, and we'll put out there, let you know when it's dropping. We're going to do a good bit around fall ball. We've got some ideas for that, mixing in with like the new stadium and then rolling right into the 26th season. So we're not going to be done. This is the last time we're talking about games probably for a little while, but we definitely want to keep things going. We've built a good fan base. It was awesome to see and talk to a lot of the parents, some of the fans that were out there in Montgomery. There's still a lot of good vibes in the ODU baseball program, a lot of good people too. Spent a lot of time with Connie and Craig Brown over the weekend. They're some of the best.
The Browns sent Mike a really cool text and had 2 pictures side by side. CB probably took both of them, but one was he was in the Hudson Blues, and it was his freshman year, and he just looks like this scarecrow of a kid, gangly and kind of a baby face. And the other one was from the start against Troy, and he's like this, he looks like freaking Wolverine, and his dad was just like, what a difference 3 years makes, and that's maybe the most gratifying part of coaching to me is seeing that transition from a little boy to a young man and seeing those guys grow, knowing better than anybody, because we've been right there with them, all the things that go into that, all the hard times, all the heartbreak, all the good times, all the and everything in between. And Dylan went through a lot of it, man. Like his first 2 years struggles until the very end of his sophomore year. But he worked his butt off in the summers and just got better. He just got better and better and better. And he became, one of the better pitchers in our league this year. And he was good just about every time out. The only time I think he was bad was probably at Auburn. 2 reasons for that. One, they're a national 4 seed with the second best RPI in the country. And 2, they had his pitches. He was tipping his pitches. And so that had something to do with it. But other than that, man, he's been lights out. And what an amazing kid. Great family. He's just so solid in every aspect of his life. He's just a really, really reliable human. He's got great habits, personal habits. He cares about all the right things. He's the guy, if you had a daughter, you'd love for her to marry Dylan Brown. You feel like a success as a parent. And so he's just a joy to coach. And all 3 of those guys were in many different ways. Sometimes you say something to Benny, he kind of looks at you cross-eyed and sideways, and he's super smart too. They just have a different way of communicating.
I wanted to ask because I wanted to ask because I saw his girlfriend in the game. I wanted to ask her, like, is he emotional with you? Because I got a really great shot at the last game of War Memorial of Ben coming off of Dylan coming off the mound, and that one he's beating his chest, and Dylan had Ben had a huge strikeout, and I'm hoping for the same thing. He's just kind of walking off. I'm like, is he get emotional? I hope he gets emotional with you because it's not happening on the baseball field.
Yeah, no. Sometimes you would wonder if Ben knew what the score was. That can be a good thing.
That can be great, yeah.
But he was just a very stoic personality kind of guy, and maybe that helped him through this year with all the difficulties he had to go through with the stuff in his head and the headaches and all of that. So I'm really proud of him. And then Blake was the more outgoing, rambunctious guy, and always in the best ways, always pumping his teammates up and, getting the guys fired up for us when he was pitching. He never tried to show the other team up. He did it the right way, always. And I was always appreciative of that and how he went about his business. And I think all those guys deserve to keep on playing. And I'm very bullish that they will get a chance. And I know everybody's going to be paying a lot of attention, in another month, 5 weeks, or whenever the draft is in July.
It's 100 years from now. It used to be beginning. It used to be next week, and now it's
now it's like a lull before the storm. But I hope those guys all get a chance.
Yeah, and think about on the position player side too. With Kyle Edwards, I think he had a really strong defensive game in the Sun Belt tournament. He hit the ball hard. I feel like he was hitting it right at everybody. Teron, I know he had the 1 year of eligibility, but they made a pretty good duo up the middle for you once that settled in. And then Luke and Wright is another one I think of.
Yeah, and Luke ended up his last month. He kind of got back to being himself, but he had a tough year overall. And you just never know if those guys press a little bit too much trying to play professional baseball. We warn them all against it, always, and some listen and some don't. The guy that had the best year for us, I mean, you look at all his numbers, and the thing with him is his walks to hit by pitches were even with his strikeouts for the year, and that's a really telltale sign of a good hitter. His freebies were just as much as his strikeouts, and he started the second half of the season. We do the first half, second half splits, just to get a feel for what guys are kind of what direction they're moving in. And his second half was markedly better than his first half, which is what you want to see in the new player. He's figuring it out. I'd like to see the power numbers go up. next year, and I think they will. He's going to stay here this summer and really hit the weight room hard and get himself stronger. And I think, and back playing at the Bud, the power numbers will go out anyway, go up because the ball, jumps out of there a little bit more these days. So, and who knows how much that hurt our home run numbers. Playing the 6 games at Arbor Park definitely didn't help.
No.
Yeah. And War Memorial's not an easy place to hit out of, especially when it's not hot.
Yeah. So I think, getting back to your home field and being much more comfortable and understand what the wind does there and all that will be helpful. And Zach had a good year. Kanan George, I think Kanan's going to have a much better senior year than junior year. He hit 280, but he struck out 84 times and walked 30-some 5, and as over half of his at-bats, the ball wasn't put in play.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at, that number, batting average on balls in play. It's usually a pitcher's number, but his batting average when he put the ball in play was really high. He just got to put it in play more. And so I think he started becoming a little bit too pull happy. Maverick Stallings, Mav and I are laughing about it today because his first half to second half are like it's completely different human.
Did you guys figure out the stat? I figured out it was April 15th, both the last 2 years was his day.
Was it April 15th?
April 15th on April 15th last year. It was April 16th this year. We have a game on the 15th. That's his day when all of a sudden he turns it on. And I think Gary and I have said if he stayed in Florida and played somewhere, he'd be an All-American for the last 2 years. I don't know what it is.
He's got like 20 home runs in April and May over 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. Like what he does there. So I told Mav this. I said, look, we got to figure out the beginning of the year. Obviously, we need to figure out we're going to do something different next year. I said, but this year, we had some other guys that could play there. I said, you're coming back as a 5th-year senior next year. You're going to play second base. I don't want anybody else to play there. So if you're going to strike out 100 times, you're going to do it all before April. and then you'll be fine. So, it's like it's a crazy thing because, he can, win a game for you by himself when he gets going like that. And to think about it, he had 9 home runs this year. And what did he hit last year? 12? 14?
Yeah, 12 last year.
Yeah.
It was 12 last year.
He's got 21 home runs in 2 years, but not even really 2 years. It's more like, 3 months.
Yeah. It's like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Maybe one of those last-minute add-ons to the new stadium is you can build a sauna right next to the on-deck circle. And go in there, feel like he's, at 85 with 80% humidity. Go in the box and just hammer away. Keep his bats in there too.
We got to get him to wear like a heated vest when he plays. Just like anything to make him think it's hot.
Or we could do the old school way and just put icy hot in his jock.
There you go.
Yeah. But Mav's gonna stay here this summer and work hard, lift, and get stronger. We got a number of guys that are going to do that, rightfully so, and much needed. So I think we got a good core group of guys coming back that'll be better in another year. I think they're excited about it. We still have some pieces to add. We'll probably add 2 or 3 more hitters and 3 or 4 more arms before we're done here this summer. So that's kind of the work now. I'm really excited about the freshman class, and everybody always says that, I know, but our last 2 freshman classes haven't been that exciting, and they haven't really done. This year's freshman class kind of got decimated by injuries from the mound perspective. Maddox and Rusi, and then Lanford ended up, they all redshirted. So it's going to be 8 freshmen or redshirt freshman pitchers on next year's team.
Wow.
They're all good. They're all good. The true freshman class of pitchers, there's some really good arms in there. And now most of those guys are going to typically help you out of the bullpen more than starting. That's just how it usually works. So we've got to figure out who's going to be able to start, amongst returning candidates and incoming guys.
Yeah, and I think last time I checked D1 baseball, there were already 650 Division One guys that had gone into the portal. I think Louisiana Monroe's entire roster is in there right now with the coaching
Yeah.
change. Like, are you looking for those pieces in the portal, or they're still incoming freshmen that you'd be looking to throw in and get enrolled real quick over the
Yeah,
summer?
it won't be any freshmen. It'll be the portal guys or junior college guys. So transfers or JUCO guys. Yeah, it won't be any more freshmen. And so we're working hard on that. That thing is 640 now. Next Monday, there might be 6,040.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely explode. So we're trying to get a jump on the early group that's in there, which is mostly grad transfers and or coaching changes, so they could jump in right away. But it's just crazy the world we live in. Like, it wasn't me. One of our assistants was talking to a guy, advisor, a guy that ambulance chasers, I call them. And he calls us about one of his clients who was at a school that had a coaching change, and the kid put up pretty good numbers. We played him, like, we know who he is, we're aware. And this guy says, I said, well, we said, well, is he interested in ODU? It's got some interest in coming here. We might be interested. And the first thing the guy says is, well, what do you got? Like, what do you got? Like, what are you gonna give him? Like, he's got this from Kansas State or this and this. And
Yeah.
And I tell our guys, when that's the first thing that comes out of their mouth, tell them goodbye. Like, we got nothing.
Yeah.
We're not interested in that.
Yeah.
We're not trying to buy anybody. We'll talk about the financial offers as a part of this. And that may be an antiquated way of doing it, but character still matters to us. And we want kids that want to be here for all of the reasons, not just one of the reasons. So that's going on a lot right now. These guys are just shopping guys around and trying to get the best offer. They don't even care what the culture of the program is, which is
Still
crazy.
believe at the level we're at here at ODU, because we're not like the big Power 5 and SEC. I think what you're saying is right. I still think you're dead on. Get the guys who want to be here. They're going to work their butts off and care about things and play hard, and that's going to work out. And yeah, maybe 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, that's not going to be the case. But for right now, for sure, I agree with you, Finney. So I like hearing that.
Yeah, it's just the way I'm wired to do it. Like, when we got to get to the point where we just got to buy them, then I'll take the Tony Bennett route and say somebody else is going to be better at this job than me.
Yeah.
Because I want to have an effect on, their lives and as much as we can, and I want to help them, and I want them to get something out of playing in this program outside of the baseball stuff. That matters, and kids come here for that, I believe, and kids transfer here for that. They hear about it. They hear about how we treat guys and all of those things. And I think the kids that come here want that. Tyler's at Dallas is a good example. We're talking today, and he didn't have a good year. Like, he knows he's much more capable than a 200 batting average with 8 extra base hits or whatever it was. And we were talking through that. And he said, this is why I want to be here, because you guys are willing to be honest with me. You're willing to help me work through stuff. And I'm still hopeful because it's in there. I just think if a guy can do something once, he can figure out how to keep doing it. It's hard, I know, but you can do it.
Yeah.
And, he was just very inconsistent this year, but it was also his first full year playing. He didn't play at all last year in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's still a learning curve there. And so, we expect him to come back and be better, and we're going to move him around a little bit. I mean, these are all the things I think in the summer it's fun to talk to. Like, we talked today about you come back and you're going to play first, and you're going to play corner outfield. We're done with third. And this will take some of the pressure off of you defensively, and you can just think about hitting more. Not that first base is easy,
Yeah.
but it's easier than third. And corner outfield, that's all you got to think about is hitting. And just catch them when they hit you. And so those are the things that I think we can do as coaches. Everybody thinks it's just about mechanics. It's not. You have to be mechanically solid to have have continued success. But for him, it's a lot about what's happening above the ears. 2 feet above your heart, man. Are you telling yourself the right stories? And for him, a lot of times it hasn't been. Like he's trying to live up to a bunch of other people's expectations, and I'm supposed to do this and I'm supposed to do that. And you got to get rid of that stuff, man. It's just noise and garbage, All it does is just cloud up your mind, and what it does is it steals your joy of playing baseball. Yeah. And this is supposed to be something that you love to do, not for any other reason than you think it's awesome to get a chance to do it. And so those are like some of the conversation with him was about that. And he's a fantastic kid. Like he really is.
Really is.
He's way too hard on himself. And those are things that, you hope you can help a young person with.
Well, I mean, you hope you hear that from a lot of your guys of like, we want the feedback, we want the coaching, because there's plenty of guys that are probably asking for money other places that they don't want to hear that. Like, yeah, sure, you could go pay and go get a great power hitter to come in, and then in 10 games and he's not doing well and just shuts down on you. He just doesn't have that mental toughness. Yeah. Like the guys that survived this season for ODU baseball, like will always be in the toughest bracket for me. Like some of the toughest dudes that come through here, because it was not an easy road in any stretch of the imagination this year.
No. Yeah, it was mental hopscotch.
I mean, I went on
for him like, the Junction boys are. It should be like the I-95 boys or
I like the construction kids or something like that.
Construction kids. We get them all a T-shirt this summer, and because they did something that's unprecedentedly hard, man. I don't think anybody could understand that. And the next year's team's going to reap, and the future teams will reap the benefits of that. And so. We made it, that's what I woke up. I woke up the other morning and went, I'm always a little sad when the season's over, and I sleep a lot for about 2 weeks. My wife Annette used to say, hibernate. You're like a bear. You got to hibernate, and then you're back. But in thinking about it, it was much more difficult than I'd anticipated. Physically, for all of us, I'm sure. Family-wise, it was really difficult for, the assistant coaches, their wives and kids. And, I told them all, y'all need to take your wives on 2 vacations this summer. And another part of the summer, the things we do is you never know if you're going to have any coaching changes. I mean, that's something that's a possibility every summer, especially when you got a good, well-respected staff. So, we had one last year with Ryan Feynman going to Troy. You just never know when that's going to happen. So you always, have your ear to the ground trying to help guys out. And I've always been of the mind of if it feels like a good move, then I'm always encouraging our guys into it, because you get into this business to keep moving up to try to be a head coach someday. I'm not in the business of trying to hold you back from that. We want to support that and make sure you're ready and moving in the right direction towards that. Carl Nonamaker and I were talking about that today. Like, he's so ready to be a head coach. His problem is a place where it's too good of an assistant job.
Yeah.
And he makes more money than all the head coaches that would try to hire him. So he's kind of
I remember because he's been there, like 7, 8 years
17. Now? Yeah, 8 years.
Yeah. So I remember at a certain point I was like, oh, I think Carl's just going to be at Auburn because, like you just said, it's too good.
Might. Butch probably got 4 or 5 more years left, I think, before he retired. And maybe Carl stays down there and can take that over or something like that. So they keep doing well.
He deserves it.
Yeah, for sure. So he's excited about it. But yeah.
Yeah, well,
that's great.
I think CB was gonna ask you about how long does that hibernation last for?
Oh yeah. That was because that was just a question I was thinking. Is like, how fast does the switch go? Because I know you guys are recruiting all the time. I mean, you have dead periods and all, but how fast does the switch go from like, okay, season's over, now I got to really get after it, get out here and make sure we got this team for next year? Is it like the second you hit the bus, or like I said, you get a couple days back home?
No, I think it even starts before that. CB, like we start talking about it. I think you're thinking about it constantly in some part of you. All right, what's this going to look like next year? This kid, where's this kid going to play next year? He's playing here this year, blah, blah, blah. But I think during this time period where we're trying to recharge our batteries a little. We're finishing up our exit meetings with our current guys. I got a couple calls when we get off here with some potential portal kids to feel them out, and so things like that. It never really stops. I just don't do much else other than sleep and drink tequila and think about next year's team for about 2 weeks.
Think about baseball. Yeah.
I was about to say,
yeah.
You just want to bring those prospects right here on the show. I mean, I think we could probably pressure them into a commitment right here on the spot.
Yeah. We might have to do that. Yeah. A couple of these guys, we might need to pull their toes a little bit, get them locked down. So,
hey,
we're all for it, man. We'll make it happen.
As we move into this farther, I do think that'd be a good, potentially June or July, topic to cover is, this year's recruiting class and who's signed and, those kind of guys.
We'd love it because, I was just looking at my little list I have on my phone of all the guys that I know of, and so it's always me, I'm all about it. So I'm all for it. It doesn't take long for me to go from the switch from like you said, it's sad. It is, you'll never have this group of guys together again, but it's also like, okay, but now we get to look at, going forward.
Yeah, it always is, man. That team number, whatever number team it was that year, it's over,
Yeah.
And all the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it was, it's done. When it's done, it's done. That's maybe the hardest thing about sports and certainly baseball. Such a long year, we play from the fall and practice and then go all the way through almost June. And then when that last game hits, you're in some sort of double elimination tournament usually. Yeah. You lose and it's just done. Dunzo. It just happens abruptly. That last out's made. I mean, when Luke grounded out there to end the season, I walked over and shook hands and I said, well, that's it. And it's that sudden realization is, I think, what gets guys, and you see the tears at the end of the season and all that. But that's good. That just means they're not psychopaths. They care about something, right?
They're humans, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and they have some empathy, and it meant something. And so I actually think the tears are always a good thing, even though they're hard to see. They mean the right stuff,
Yeah, the kid whose agent is asking for money in the portal probably isn't. He probably wouldn't shed any tears when the season was over, right?
No, exactly. Yeah, and if you've invested in it, there probably should be some tears at the end of it.
Yeah.
If you're really into it, and you put yourself into it and everything you had, and so did all your teammates. Well, you don't get to play with them anymore, and that can be a little bit of a harsh reality. And so I think I had a little moment like that just talking to Kyle Edwards. I mean, I've known Kyle since he was 15. 14, and we've got a long way back, man. And I just told him I'm proud of him. He did a great job of being a leader, and I think he's going to be a fantastic coach whenever he decides he's done playing.
I was just saying when we get him on the coaching staff. I was going to ask you a few minutes ago. I forgot. Yeah.
No. Well, if he doesn't get a chance, like as a free agent deal or something like that, I think he will want to get right into it, and we'll certainly find room for him on our staff.
Love it.
Yeah,
I love it. That's what it's all about, man. Which I'm a huge fan. I love you guys bringing back guys like Keene and Ron Moore and Pond and having those guys and Trujillo last year. And I think it's so great to have those guys that and some of them decide, Tommy Bell, and some of them decide they do want to do and they don't. I think Trujillo is a fireman now, which is great. Good, and some of them decide they do want to do it. So I think it's great to give them the opportunity, man. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I like having our former players as young assistants because you get to help them keep growing up, and then they can keep giving the message because they've lived it. You bring in a new guy, there's a little bit more of a learning curve there, I think. So, So we'll get to work on the staff and who's going to stay and who's going. I know, some of these young guys, are hopefully going to get opportunities in some other places, and we want to help encourage that.
All right. Well, Finney, we appreciate it. I know, like I said, we'll do this about once a month, but I know it's been such a blessing. Really, it's been such a blessing having you on every week. I know Gary and I have said this is like the highlight of our weeks. A lot of weeks is enjoyable hanging out, talking on the podcast, and I know the fans who've listened to it have thoroughly enjoyed it. Because number one, just the information, the access, and just the knowledge of things, but just then also you're a fantastic guy, and I always just enjoy talking to you, man. So I appreciate everything you've done for us this season.
Well, I feel the same way, man. I'm very grateful that you guys allowed me to come on this, and we switched gears on the Extra Fittings podcast, and I had so much more fun doing this with you guys. I think the first year, I forget, Tim Wentz, I think, was the host for the Extra Fittings. We had a blast, but I never had that much fun with it until again. And you guys are both baseball guys and ODU baseball guys, and it's been fun to get y'all's perspective. And I appreciate y'all's honesty and candor because I like to hear it. I do, and I like to hear a fan's perspective, somebody that knows the program's perspective. You guys wanted the guys on here as part of it. I thought that was cool, supporting that. And all of it has helped, especially in a year where we weren't here.
Yes.
I think it helped people feel like they could stay a little bit more connected to the program, even though they couldn't come over to our stadium and watch us play. And so hopefully it'll get them back next year. We'll keep getting them fired up and be back playing at the – we're not going to be able to call it the Bud anymore. We're going to call it the L, I guess. But we're so grateful to Dennis Elmer and his family for that. And it's still coming along slow right now, but that's the way it is when they're on the ground. So I saw a giant elevator shaft. It looks like they're digging down to China down there for that. But once it starts going up, man, it's going to be super exciting. So can't wait for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the elevator actually goes to where the thermals come up for Mav's sauna that we've just gotten approved. So that's where it is.
There we go.
It's multi-dimensional. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And when we get closer to that too, like we could have an episode where we live do it from the new stadium or different rooms, different places in the new ballpark, the press box, the VIP lounge, the coaches' place. I think giving people access to that can't do anything. The stands, the chairbacks. You give people access to that, can't do anything but help maybe pique their interest and want to get them out there. And we got a fantastic.
There you go. I'm all for it.
Like we're playing a bear of an early season home schedule next year, so it's going to be.
Can you remind us of that again? So
early, it's I know 3 of the first 4 weekends are Charlotte comes back. We ended up finished second in the AAC this year. We've got UConn and Northeastern. Northeastern's got 29 game winning streak this year, longest in the country, and they're 47-9. And then I forget who the third one is. I can't recall. It's opening weekend is not those 3. Those are the next 3.
Was it Penn State?
I think that's 27. Yeah.
Okay.
Next year I'll have to. I'll have it. Hold on one second. I can get it right here. Y'all feel some.
Oh, so you'll know by the time the season rolls around. We know that.
Yeah, exactly. It is. Let's see, 26.
The suspense is killing us. We've all leaned in. We've turned up our volume.
I was a little bit wrong. So it's Northeastern's in 27. So Kent State, Niagara, Charlotte, UConn. All right, and then we go to open up conference play at Troy. So first 4 weekends at home. Go to Troy, then App State at home. Go to South Al, then Southern Miss at home. That's Easter weekend. Go to Marshall, Georgia State at home. Go to Georgia State, Arkansas State at home, and then finish at Coastal. So,
the Coastal at the bookend.
Yeah, so we miss Louisiana and Texas State, and who else on that side?
Have we ever played
Monroe?
Texas State?
We missed Monroe too. Yeah.
Played Texas State last year.
Oh, we did. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, down there. So couple new to Ark State back on. South Al and Troy missed South Al this year. So good schedule.
There you go. There you go. Good. I'm gonna watch this back and write it all down for myself.
There you go. Yeah, write it down. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for everything this year, and we'll see you this summer.
All right. Thank you so much, Finney. We appreciate it.
Go Monarchs.
Go Monarchs.
Go Monarchs.
Bye.
Yeah, man.
All right. We will be right back.
Yeah. Look at
This episode of the Monarchist Podcast is brought to you by the Pride of ODU Collective. Their mission is to elevate the experience of student athletes through name, image, and likeness, while also elevating the fan experience. If you or your business are interested in getting involved, you can reach out to us directly or go over to theprideofodu.com. That is theprideofodu.com. Thank you for listening, and go Monarchs.
All righty. Well, that was awesome to have Coach Finwood on here to put a nice bow on the season.
What a joy! I'm not even a hint of exaggeration. Like, what a absolute. I never say this word, but what a blessing! Just phenomenal. Just great to have him on every week. And I'm looking forward to. You see right there, he's giving us ideas. I wouldn't have thought of like taking a live tour and walking around the stadium. Like, that's awesome. We're definitely doing that the second we're able to. That's so cool.
Yes, as soon as ODAF lets us in that facility, we will be in there getting pictures, live stream, whatever.
Yeah.
We've got some fun ideas we're kicking around for fall ball, because I'm going to get something off of my plate that'll free me up a good bit at the end of the summer and into the fall.
Sure.
So we're pumped for what's ahead. Obviously, looking back on this season, record wise, we knew it wasn't going to be pretty, but we did check off a lot of things we wanted to do, right? We wanted to be 500 or better in the conference. Got it, 15-15. We were a top 6 seed. And let me tell you, watching those two playing games on Tuesday, I am so glad we were not in either one of them, because you had two teams that were in a knife fight in a phone booth for those games is what it felt like.
And you saw what happened. I mean, Finney nailed it where we had said it too, that if you didn't win the first two, your chances were really going to go downhill. And we saw that. So if we had to play a play-in game, man, it was going to be rough.
Yeah. I mean, none of the play-in teams survived. They both went 0-2 after that.
Yeah.
The teams that played in the championship were both the teams from the winners bracket with Coastal and Southern Miss.
Yeah. It really went chalk, really did. I mean, it came down to like, what was it, 1, 2, 3, and 4 were the top final ones, right?
Yeah. We were one of the few upsets, like to go 6-3. And that was really behind a lot of good pitching and some timely hitting, like Luke getting that bases loaded 2-out single into left was huge. I somehow got the best video of that, even though it was being broadcast. I don't know how that worked.
The broadcast missed a few. There were a couple of. I mean, I always say I don't expect to see in a situation like this, but during the year, I always say like, look, they just got some student intern that has never seen a baseball game before. It's like that's why they're missing plays. But I didn't expect a few of those. There were a couple plays. There was like a play at the plate, I think, where Evan got the guy at the plate against Troy, and like they had no good angle on it. Like they didn't even have it on the screen at all. It was just like, come on, guys, this is your conference tournament. Like get somebody out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was some fatigue building in there too, and it wasn't exactly cool, but it was not as hot.
Well, shout out to their announcers too, man. Those guys did every single game. Like, I love baseball, but like I was counting. I'm like, by a certain day, I'm like, they've done like 15 baseball games in like 5 days. Like, this is a crazy amount, and they were right on. I mean, you have the occasional kind of announcer like baseball, like, yeah, we're talking about wacky stuff. It's not baseball, but for the most part, they were pretty locked in. It was impressive.
Yeah, I mean, if I could have found them there, I would have given them a nice handshake, but I'm pretty sure they weren't in my.
They were in the booth. You couldn't find them. They probably slept in the booth overnight.
Well, booth, but I don't think they were geolocated with the tournament. So there's
is that what it was?
That's what it appeared to be.
That's weird. Okay.
Don't think they were there. That's fairly common. That's fairly common these days. They don't travel.
How?
Play-by-play guys. I don't know.
Why?
A lot of the teams brought their own radio. I know Ted had a good location. He called all of our games on the radio side. It was good to see Ted out there. Really pumped to have him back. But like Southern Miss, literally there's a media perch down the left field line. It's up on a second level, which is a pretty cool part of the ballpark. Good views, good picnic spot. Like the radio guy for Southern Miss for the first game literally just sat in the first booth up there and was just watching it, calling the game. And I'm sitting right behind him the whole time. So it was curious because there's not that many spots actually in the press box there, right? When you take in the scoreboard operator, official scorer, home visiting, SIDs, all that, like all the media was down on that perch. And then we had 2 suites where we could kind of do post game. So it was an interesting setup, but the ballpark itself is actually pretty cool. Like if you saw any shots of it, they incorporated a lot of the old warehouses and receiving houses to make it look like those were the suites in the upper levels, which I thought was pretty cool and kind of fit in with kind of right there in Montgomery where the stadium is. But it was an experience. I will say it was sad when we lost second time to Troy. And I think I told someone from Troy this, is like, I'm not sad because they lost. Like you lose in baseball, it happens. But it's like I'm going back and thinking I just watched a lot of these really awesome dudes put on the uniform for the last time. And that's what gets you. That's what gets you in the feels, man. Like going back to like, oh, was that Luke's last at bat? Was that Kyle's last at bat? When Ben gets pulled out of the game there at the end, it's like it's the last time you see Ben. It's just
for Blake, having probably one of the worst games of his career in his last game. It's like and I had shared that graphic about his breaking the record that day, and he sent me a message like he was like, hey, thanks, CB. And I told him, I was like, hey man, I'm proud of you. I was like, I'm just proud of the guy. Like so you're right. It is tough when you know that's the last time, and some of the guys you don't know, some of the guys that you like, you enjoy, and you don't know that it was the last time you'll see them. But so that's college sports are like that, man. It's crazy. It's it's the one thing with professional sports, you'd never really know. A guy could play for 20 years for his team, but with the college sports, you have an idea. Like this guy only has this much time he can play, and even though they do all these weird things where suddenly they have more time, some of them, but for the most part, you have an idea like this is it. So even with that, it's still like it's a bummer. Like it's like he was saying, like I've known Kyle Edwards since he was like 14. Like it is. Yeah. It's wild to think like this. I mean, I really hope he's going to get a chance to play pro. He's earned it. Whether it's getting with affiliated ball, indie ball if he wants to, but he's definitely good enough. But if it is the last time we got to see him play a ball game, and that's it's crazy, man. That's a bummer. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, and I know it's a little bit different now because the age of the transfer portal, you don't have as many guys that stay for that full 4 years or 5 years as you used to. But it almost makes you treasure the guys that have stayed here for 3+ years even more, and you get more attached to them. So definitely think about that with Kyle, and obviously Luke, Blake, Dylan, really a lot of those guys, kind of the dying breed in college these days. But sad, but excited for the future. I mean, we're going into an off season. We're going to have a new ballpark. Sounds like from Coach Finwood said, we got a good core of guys that are going to be returning, at least on the offensive side. Some guys come back from injury that I think we could have desperately used in the bullpen this year.
Yeah.
So a lot to look forward to. But one way fans can help with that is dollars for dingers. I can't remember if this has got to be the 4th year, because the first year we did it was after the 21 regional that we hosted in Columbia, South Carolina. That's where that came from, I think, right? I think it's
22, 23, 24, 25. Yeah. It's 4.
Yeah. So I know we've done anywhere from like $5,000 to $10,000.
That wasn't me judging you. That was me showing everyone how I can't count and you'd use my fingies.
I just guessed because I just 25 minus 21. Hope that's right.
See, that's way. I don't have that many toes. I can't do that much math. Those are too many high numbers for me.
Yes. Well, we ended up with 46 dingers on the year. So if you want to stick to the true dollars for dingers, $46. We're going to get that all set up with ODAF. So
if you want to be a cheap coward, you can do it that way.
Yes, but there are plenty of other stats. Even if you're maybe a more negative fan, maybe you donate $1 for every person that we walked or hit by a pitch this year.
Yes.
If you really want to see some improvement. But there'll be a couple different options on there. Obviously, you can donate whatever you want, but we're going to do it through ODAF. That's at Finney's request.
I think donate for strikeouts, for how many guys we struck out this year, which I don't know why my stats aren't even showing it.
You can make it easy with Dylan Brown's numbers alone.
Yeah, I mean, you could just do Dylan. You strike 102 strikeouts for Dylan Brown. That's a great one. Yeah, there are all kinds of numbers, so we'll get you some options. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to the team, it's going to help the program, it's going to help these guys, and make it a place where, again, we want those guys that want to be here. I loved hearing that from Finney. That like, look, we don't have anything for you, man. We don't have. This is not the football team, it's not the basketball team. You come here right now because you want to be here and you want a chance to play ball and be in a great place with some great people and do some good stuff. And if that's not what you're into, cool, man. Plenty of spots for you. Go somewhere else. No problem. No hard feelings. That's where you want to be. Again, you're not really like that. I mean, that was the thing we talked about. There's a guy I'll say that was Cannon Peebles. He's a guy who, a few years ago, he's with Tennessee now. He flipped on us without really telling anybody and decided to go to NC State. And, I love Finney's opinion about that. It was just like, hey, I always want guys who want to be here. It's like, I wish nothing bad against him. He's a good kid. I know the guys. I always still root for him. But it's one of those, like, he wanted to go places for money. And, hey, he was on a national championship team last year. So, things have worked out for him. But at the end of the day, it's like we want guys who want to be here, So I'm all for it. Some now people might, complain or whatever. But I think at the end of the day, I think if you build with a bunch of guys who want to be here, it's going to be better.
The team definitely comes together more. You feel it more. Like baseball guys just spend way too much time together for someone to be that like outlier that's only there for money. Like you're going to get slipped out so fast. It's
to be the guy where you like, hey man, we gotta need you to work harder. It's like, you must like what I do. You gave me X amount of money. It's like, bro, shut up. Like nobody wants this.
You're hitting $110. Go have a seat.
Yeah, like exactly. Like, and that's the other part too, is then you end up, if you're a team who doesn't spend all that money, if you're LSU, you can bench some guy you're paying a bunch of money to, because you pay the guy you're bringing up you're paying a bunch of money too. And if ODU baseball was paying some guy, he might be the only guy we're paying. You're not benching that guy. So you don't want that. You want the meritocracy. You want the guys to earn it and fight for it and have it. So I'm all for. I've always said I'm all for the NIL in the sense of guys getting their money. I'm not really for like the paying for play. That's not what NIL was supposed to be. I think the transfer portal is great. You should be able to move wherever you want, whenever you want. I think you should be able to go and like do commercials and do camps and things to get paid off your name, image, and likeness. But then when it became like paying players to play, that was a bad thing. And you can see with all the mess that goes on every year. So, but we are there. We're not going back. It's not genie's not going back in the bottle. So we're going to enjoy a few more years before we can avoid that in our nice smaller school here. Because it's what I like. It's more like real sports.
It is. And I think the majority of our league is in the same boat as us when it comes to NIL. Like there's a huge gap in NIL between like the power four in the group of five in football and basketball, right? We know that's big.
Yeah.
It's an incalculable gap between the power conferences in baseball and the group of five in baseball. Like it's a difference between, here's a bag of peanuts and a Coke. And like, here's $100,000. Like,
I think we were down in Auburn. I think we were here, and it was like $2 million for their NIL. And then we were at Southern Miss. I think it was like $250,000, which again, peanuts compared to the diamonds, but then $250,000 compared to our zero is a lot.
Yeah, and that's likely going to change for us. We're not going to be at that zero marker. I don't actually. We may not even be at that zero marker right now. But no, it's not going to be we're never going to have a $2 million NIL budget. Like hyperinflation, sure. I'll bring it in a wagon to go buy milk.
Right. And again, I think I think that paying tuitions and things is different than paying players. It just, again, let's get some guys who want to be here. So I like hearing that at Finney. I like the idea that if that's the first thing a guy says, like, all right, we're done. Have fun. Good luck. Again, no hard feelings. That's your drafter. That's fine. It's just not. We want to find guys who are right for us, and that's one of the things I think we've done a lot. I think that was a joke a lot in the fall about like, well, we just have a lot of nice guys who happen to be good at baseball. And I think a few times with the joke of like, maybe we're too nice of guys and not as good enough at baseball. But I think that's not true, obviously. But that's a good place to start from to me. Is let's get some good folks, and we're gonna play some baseball. That's the part's gonna work itself out.
And we have some good kids in our program.
Like, really great people.
You hang out with them for 4 or 5 days in Montgomery.
Bro.
I didn't even realize this. Like my hotel room was in the middle of ODU's block. And if you would have told me that beforehand, I'd be like, oh, well, shit, I'm not going to sleep ever. But instead, like just everyone was saying hi. It was quiet. I was right next to Dylan Brown. So I'm glad that the first night I was there when the AC went out in the hotel that I wasn't too loud, because I would have probably ruined his night's sleep, and his day was more important than mine. But no, just good kids, good parents, a lot of good people in the program. So when the Dollars for Dingers comes out here towards the end of the week for ODAF, we'll promote it, put it out. Pick a stat that meets your budget. How about that? There's plenty of them out there in baseball. Pick one that meets your budget, show your support, and just start getting ramped up, because
and share it. Right? When you do it, share like, hey, here's what I donated. Here's why. Here's the stat. It was, it was Dylan Brown strikeouts. It was team home runs. It was home runs plus stolen bases. It was team strikeouts. That'd be up over $400 and some. I mean, whatever it is, let us know. because that's cool. That's fun. We want to see like why you chose that. But yeah, like I think it's a great one. Pick your budget.
Yep.
Make it at least $100.
And even if you're not in a spot to donate, retweet it, like it, share it, get more eyeballs on it. That helps. Same thing with this podcast. The more people that know about it, the easier it is for us. But we have some fun things to wrap up, and I think we got to start with our usual players of the week from the Sun Belt.
Players of the week. Look at those studs. So Dylan Brown. I mean, come on. I mean, we know he was the dude. 6 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs on a really weak Blue Pit. Only gave up 4 hits, walked 1, and struck out 9 to give him 102 strikeouts for the season. I mean, what a year for Dylan Brown, and what a way to finish it off with a huge win over a top 25 team. Some other pitchers who did really well this week. I mean, Ben Moore came in relief of that. Actually, I didn't account for Ben's other game, so I'm not going to read his stats. His other game wasn't as good. That was my bad. I got overexalted. But how about Kellen Davis? Kellen Davis had 3 scoreless innings. I think it was first 3-inning appearance of his ODU career. I would say I don't think he threw more pitches than he has in any game probably since high school. So 3 innings, no runs, 1 hit, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. So great appearance for Kellen, who had kind of an up and down year. I mean, so it was nice to see him finish out really strong. And then Hunter Baines, who, we all know his hamstring has kind of had some issues all year. And he's guy throws like 99, 100 miles an hour, but has had some issues. But he looked nasty. I mean, you were there. I mean, to me, he looked about as good as he looked all year. He's had a couple of other appearances where it's like, man, this guy is something else. Also, one of my favorite guys. I have you got a chance to talk to Hunter at all. One of my favorite human beings on the team. Inning and 2/3, no runs. I think I guess 1 hit, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. I mean, and looked filthy doing it. So a lot of good stuff on the pitch. I mean, again, it's hard when you get run rule into the game and you lose the other game. But I mean, there were still some really good pitching outings in this week.
Our only hope to come back and beat Troy in that elimination game was if Kellen shut it down for those innings.
Yeah.
And that's a big load to put on the kid's back when he hasn't thrown that much. But he did it. He did it really well. His stuff was working. Troy looked very confused at the plate. Yes, Hunter, it's hard not to be excited about that kid coming back next year because he was popping 98 on the scoreboard. So I know the track band was closer to 99, 99 and a half. And that's on not a fully functional hamstring. So pumped for that. And of course, Dylan, I will go on record and say he was snubbed from the all tournament team. Dylan Brown absolutely should have been on the all tournament team. They just did that because we were gone. That's why.
Yeah. We're, ODU is until we start doing some big stuff in the Sun Belt, we're not going to get a lot of respect. And even then we won't get a lot of respect because they have their 3 or 4 teams they love and we're not one of them. So hitter of the week, again, not much of a surprise, right? Really our best hitter all year. Zach Late, he was 5 for 9, had a double, a triple. Gotta love the big guy triple. Had a triple RBI and 2 walks on the week. So another just solid all-around week. Again, he didn't necessarily all year do anything like amazing and flashy. He gets out there, he gets on base. I mean, right there was at 7 out of 11 on base. So I mean, that's pretty phenomenal. Maverick Stallings, another great week for Maverick. 4 of 11. Had another homer and 2 RBI, so he ended up leading the team in home runs. I forgot to get a chance to look before we started this, but it's the first time in a few years since we haven't had a guy with double-digit home runs. It's been, might have been like, I don't know, 13 or 14, something like that. It's been a while. Been a minute because that was the thing for a while. It was kind of happening all the time, but then we kind of hit a new range. So, and again, I think we talked about just the playing the different parks factored into that. Efrain Morales, after coming back after missing a few weeks, he finally got cleared to play again. He was 3 for 9 for the week, so very nice, solid week for a guy who had a great year. Scotty Young was 3 for 10 with a double, an RBI, and 2 and a walk. And Scotty had a nice. Scotty was getting better as the year went on. As he played more, he got better. As I see that confidence come up. And then Evan Holman was 2 for 7 with 2 RBIs and 3 walks. So he had that big 2-run double there in the game against Troy.
Zach Late should have had an inside the park home run on that triple. Just throwing it out there. I think he could have had it. Probably the safe bet to stay at third.
Gotta carry that piano on your back. It makes it a little harder.
Yes, it is. But he put it in the gap. He got to third. He did his job. Yeah. He and Scotty are obviously close. We know they live together, Cali guys, all that. They were absolutely hilarious pregame on the field, especially Scotty. He had to come find me with the camera in my hand to make sure I get like multiple fist bumps, all of that. He was clowning me when my phone overheated on the field and the live stream cut out.
That's crazy.
I know he's got a year of eligibility left, and I'm going to be really sad if he's not on this roster next year.
Yeah, I'm hoping he's back. Like Finney just pointed out, he's playing for the Pilots. So I'm hoping those are all indicators. Yeah, I mean, again, obviously Finney isn't going to give us. He doesn't know everything yet, and guys make their own decisions. But I really, Scotty's an ODU type of guy, and so I hope and want to believe that he's going to be back with us.
Yes, absolutely. Awesome. All right, we got some of the year awards to hand out.
I mean, whatever you can go, whatever order, man. They're all. We got about 4 of them. All right, so here we go. Pitcher of the year. What a shocker! What a shocker! Dylan Brown, right? I mean, this guy. I wish the lighting hadn't been so bad. I had to do so much to make that, and still doesn't look great. But that's a picture thing, because that was awesome. You see, Dylan was just getting after it in that game. That was the last one there against Coastal. So Dylan. He ended up the year. What was he? He was 5-2, which on this team with our win-loss record is kind of amazing, right? He had 82 innings pitched. I need a different stat thing. This isn't. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. This thing is not showing me all the numbers I want to see, and I don't know why. It's annoying me.
But I was going to say there's 2 Dylan Browns. There's the Dylan Brown inside the lines, and then there's the nicest human being you'll ever meet outside the lines.
Yes.
It's really fun.
Then there's like the nicest guy who's like a 4.0 GPA and like an engineering, and he's as kind and humble as nice as could be. I think we were talking about one time in the dugout, and I was like, man, I bet he has like ugly feet or something. He has like a weird gross toe. And then I think Hunter, our trainer, was like, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He is just perfect all around. He's just excellent, perfect kid all around. So he's 5-2. Had 15 games, 15 starts, 82 innings. Had a 4.06 ERA, which was the best on the team. So a little high, but in college, that's kind of how it goes. Had 102 strikeouts in 82 innings, only 26 walks. So you're talking about 3.92 strikeouts per walk. So almost 4 strikeouts for every walk. 11.2 strikeouts per 9 innings. I mean, these are just stupid numbers. Dylan he had a 1.24 whip. I mean, the guy was just outstanding. He was a dog. Like every time you need him to step up and do something big, he stepped up.
He was tough. He's likely going to be our highest drafted guy of the season. I think there are a lot of teams looking at him. I know the Yankees are very interested in what he brings to the table. So I imagine it's going to get scrappy there on that 4th round, and there are going to be people fighting at the bat rack to go and draft Dylan Brown. We had a couple other great pitchers. I mean, obviously with Ben Moore, Blake, we've talked about quite a good bit. One I don't want to leave out is Alex Hunt and what he was able to do out of the bullpen the second half of the year. And that he's going to have a shot in the pros too, just with his velo.
He's got some stuff.
Yeah, he could be filthy. Get with the right pitching coach, right pitching plan. He's going to be in good shape. Also, spend time with his parents over the week in Montgomery. Awesome people folks as well. So I know he's only here for a year, but definitely a memorable guy and helped us win some games down the stretch in a big way. And
Ethan Hubble, while we're talking about pitchers who do well, I mean, Ethan ended up. He started off, had a little bit of rough, but man, he was. And you said I think he got hit on the elbow in that last game. That line drive back. Yeah. I mean, it looked bad.
It was kind of the forearm right before his elbow. Okay. And Finney said that in the post-game press conference, when he came out there, was already the size of a baseball.
So you can see he couldn't move his arm.
Yeah, it felt terrible.
And on the replay, it looked like it got him right in the ribs. And I hate to say the forearm might be better than the ribs, but he kind of collapsed a lung. That guy hit that thing hard. But anyway, not talking about one of his worst moments, but yeah, Ethan, he really looked good, especially at the end of the year. I mean, he was really dominating in his number. He ended up with a 4.35 ERA in 31 innings, and he actually his strikeouts per 9, he was at 13.1 strikeouts per 9 and 4 strikeouts per walk. So Ethan had some of those numbers that are like really good indicators of a dude doing some stuff. So it's exciting that he Now, I'm not going to say at the end of the day, a guy throws like that, he could get a chance to get drafted too. He's eligible, but, hopefully he's coming back to us and he could be a big anchor for us next year.
I'd love to pencil him in on either Friday or Saturday for next year, depending on what else. Cool. That's him and Hunter and some other guys I think are going to be fighting. Be a lot of good competition for those starting spots because
they're wide open.
They're wide open.
There's nobody returning who was like we can definitely have this guy in there for sure.
And if you're in the portal somehow bored and listening to this podcast, if you're a starting pitcher and you're pretty good, you got a chance to compete for a spot here.
Yeah, and if you're a good dude too, if you're a real turd, stay away.
Yeah,
if you're listening to this, you're probably a good person to start with.
You have to stay a week with us in Montgomery to meet the bar. Well, we
All
talked
right,
about this guy
so
a good bit for player of the
we
week, but
did.
Zach Late,
Yeah,
hitter of the
we
year.
did. Yeah, Zach Late. I mean, again, just outstanding. Led the team with a 343 batting average. Led the team with a 958 OPS. Led the team with a 461 on base percentage. His slugging 497 was second to Maverick Stallings. Let's see. Yeah, he only struck out 37 times in 206 plate appearances. So I mean, just a great strikeout ratio. Yeah, 33 walks and what do you say, 4 hit by? Yeah, 33 walks and 4 hit by pitches. So his on bases matched his strikeouts. Had 34 RBIs, tied for the team lead with Cannon George and Luke Waters. Only had 3 home runs, which is surprising when you think about because at one point I think he probably got all 3 of those in like March. But again, he did lead the team with 15 doubles, so it wasn't like he wasn't hitting for power. I think again, the guy was being smart, focusing on putting that ball in play hard. And if he goes to the fence, cool. But if not, like I'm gonna hit 343 and do some stuff. Let's see, runs. He didn't have as many runs because he was driving them in. But yeah, so he was up there pretty much everything. He led the team in hits with 58 hits. Total bases, he was second to George. So he was pretty much first or second in everything, and was just it took a couple of games, but once he kind of got in there and was the first baseman, you could pencil him in at the 3-4 spot every game. It was like, all right, this part of the lineup is set. We can figure out there. I mean, you saw a lot of things kind of maneuver around him, but he was pretty much 3-4 every day.
Yeah, he was the anchor for the lineup all year. I know I said this to you before we started recording, but I don't remember him having an at-bat that wasn't competitive.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the biggest at-bats he had all year was actually against Georgia State. He had like an 11-pitch walk, and he fouled off a ton of pitches in that at-bat. He's going to be staying in Norfolk this summer, working out, hitting the weight room, all of those things. We expect to have Zach back in that lineup next year, which is going to be a big, big boost.
Which is huge. I mean, being able to say that you got him and we Cannon George and Maverick Stallings coming back. I mean, other guys too, but just off the top of your head, 3 kind of middle order bats who could be doing some damage. Obviously, if Maverick could figure out how to be warm the first half of the year, and if Cannon can cut down the strikeouts a lot, man, you've got to start there.
Yeah, that's a good core 3 hitters in the middle of your lineup coming back. One guy who unfortunately will not be back next year in a playing capacity, potentially coaching. I don't even want to put it up because it's over, but Kyle Edwards, defender of the year.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he did lead the team in errors, right? But you think about he's the shortstop. He also the only guy who had more chances of the first baseman was catching everything thrown over there. So yeah, he led the team in errors, but I think he also had the highest fielding percentage of any of the fielders on the infield. So he, and never mind the stats, just the eye test, right? The old just watching a ball game, who's a guy. Pretty much any ball game you watch this year of ODU, you're going to be pretty impressed by what Kyle was doing on the field. He was athletic. When he didn't make plays, was surprising. There are all kinds of plays where he sometimes you get to a ball and maybe he didn't get an out, but he might have saved a run. It's just him getting the ball is impressive. So he's just one of those guys that. And I remember, like I said, I've been watching him since he was about 14 years old. I mean, probably when he was just entering high school. And I remember even back then, it was like, this kid can play defense at ODU right now. And he never, it took him a while. I mean, we kind of forget he didn't really start playing shortstop until last season here at ODU. Yeah. He was playing some second base. He was playing some outfield. He's just kind of just a gritty guy doing whatever he had to do for the team. And once he finally got settled in playing shortstop, it's been pretty phenomenal a couple of years for him.
He gets to a lot of balls hit up the middle that most guys don't. And and maybe sometimes that hurts him because he's, actually making you play on the ball and he can't get an out or something, but that's keeping that runner from going to second to home, from third, whatever it may be. Yeah. And some of the throws that he has made across the infield, opposite direction of his body, going towards third base and getting guys out, huge. He saved us several runs in the tournament. I think there's a couple plays in that first Troy game where if we have just an average shortstop there, Troy might win that game. We go lose 2 and go home. Yes. Scotty Young, I'll say that for him too, in left field with some big catches. I'm going to miss the way Kyle glides around that shortstop position, man. It's fun to watch him play.
We've been very blessed for about the last decade because you can draw a pretty straight line between Kyle Edwards and Tommy Bell and Zach Rutherford. There was kind of that overlap. So this is the first time in a while where there hasn't been a very obvious, okay, next guy up. So that feels weird to me as an ODU fan. We're not real sure who's going to be the shortstop next year. I know we have a JUCO kid coming in from Oklahoma who played shortstop and played really well. Will Johnson played really well out there in Oklahoma. I butcher the name of the school right now, so we'll talk about him later when I have it written down in front of me. But I can remember Will Johnson, very easy name. He had a phenomenal year. But we've been very blessed. So it is a little odd not to have the immediate successor right here. But hopefully whoever it is that comes in, if it's Will Johnson or if it's somebody else, whoever our shortstop is, keeps it going, because we've had some real impressive shortstops in the last 10 years.
Some shoes to fill there, going back a couple of generations at shortstop here to you. All right, and our final end of the season award goes to Ephraim Morales for freshman of the year.
Yeah, this one, obviously not a ton of competition, really. I think we only had 6 freshmen that actually played in games. It was him, and then Tanner Shadell and Brody Connor was the other hitters, and they both neither one. If you look at their numbers, they were ugly, right? I mean, both of them hit under 200. They didn't have a very impressive number, but I think we were talking about this before we started. I said it's crazy. You look at Brody's numbers and Tanner's numbers. You're like, no, I'm still excited about those guys. Like they hit under 200 in like both 50, 60 at bats, but they look good a lot of times. And then the pitching staff, Jace Park was the pitcher, the freshman who got the most innings. And, he had, again, up and down. I mean, he ended up with like a 7.91 ERA. But he had some really great games, had some really good big moments. And I think, Finney pointed out he cut his finger before the year. So maybe if that heals, he's further away from that to get back to himself. And then Cole Lanford, another guy, we talked about, he had brain surgery. So which is, so we have to imagine he was dealing with some stuff before, but he same thing, had some really nice moments, had some not great ones, but then, maybe he has other stuff going on. Guy, I love him. I think he's a great kid. I've got to see him pitch in high school. Big, huge, talented guy. So I'm excited for him. And Will Orbison only got into one game. And, again, he's been a very talented ball player. So, again, not a ton of freshmen that were really hugely impactful this year. So it's not like, again, not huge competition, but at the same time, we want to point out Ephraim Morales, because what a dog, like what a dude. Yeah. This guy hit 308, so second on the team in average, had a 760 OPS, 7 doubles, had that home run there at Auburn, which to lead off the game, which was huge. 16 RBIs, which I actually thought he had more RBIs, but he was just had a lot of singles, ton of singles getting on base. He had, the number of like 2 and 3 hit games he had must have been, I didn't count it up again because I'm not good at this, but the number of multi-hit games he had was crazy. Ephraim, and got to catch a little bit, obviously the arm was hurting him, and then had, getting some concussions off the catching. So some unfortunate things happened this year, but the guy was just like, and we had him on the show here, and he's just everything you want in a Monarch. This is a guy that I want to see in our uniform. Ideally for the next 2 years, then he's like a first-round draft pick because he's so freaking good. I don't know if it'll be catching next year. He's going to play outfield, play second base, whatever he's going to be doing. I know where he's going to be. He's going to be the man doing it. He's going to be just a complete animal out there, all about fighting for his team. I could not be more excited that we have this guy and we get to have him on our roster. Like, what a guy.
And we have not seen Ephraim Morales at full strength because he had an arm injury coming into the year. He got 2 concussions in like a 3-week span at the back end of the season. And he's still the Southern Miss game. I know he had at least 1 hit, if not 2. And also was fighting a pretty crowded position, right? Because you've got Slater and you have Holman, and Holman is just so strong back there behind the plate and what he's able to bring to the game. So I'm just excited. Like a fully healthy Ephraim Morales is like a 2-hole hitter. Like you throw him in the 2 spot, you throw him in the 5 spot, like you can have him hit leadoff wherever, and he's just going to work his ass off and get it done. So.
We forget he was a freshman batting leadoff the first 3-4 weeks of the season. A freshman DH batting leadoff, like that's the amount of confidence that you have to have. The amount of this guy is special. That says Finney's not new to this, right? Finney's been coaching for a long time, so he puts a guy who's a freshman batting DH leadoff to start your season against some really remember our non-conference schedule we started with, like the crazy amount of teams we were playing against, playing there at Georgia Tech and doing this down at Auburn and all these places. That says a lot about who he is and what we think of him.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm pumped to see his development. I just hope he gets healthy. I think he's slated to play for the Charlottesville Tom Sox this summer in the second half.
Yeah, I think the second half. Yeah,
better not be behind the plate, but anywhere else on the field, let him get his swings,
yes.
all that stuff. I'm sure Finney and the coaching staff's all over that. But
yeah,
a lot to look forward to, but also I think a lot of work to do. Well, the guys getting these summer assignments, they got to get tuned up for the fall and get ready. Coaching staff has work to do in the portal, and obviously they're looking at the 27 class now for freshmen.
I think I want to say starting Monday is when you can start talking to rising juniors. So I think that's the day you can start. So that's the first chance to talk to some of the 2027 graduates. I know we already have some 2026s that are high school kids that are committed. So this will be the chance. So if there's some guys out there that you know and you like, and you might want to get out there and say, hey, we're interested. Come to us. So you may see a few names. You probably see. I mean, we'll have a camp later in the summer. So I'm sure you'll see some names. That usually you get 2 or 3 guys commit right after that. It's not just gonna be this year. That's all. That building always keeps happening. Like Finney said, you don't really ever turn it off. I'm sure they're always thinking about it.
Yeah, and the baseball transfer portal and everything is crazy. You don't hear about it as much because portal opens on June 2nd, which is Monday, and it runs through July 1st. And then usually that coincides somewhere around like 4th of July, All-Star Game draft. It kind of gets overshadowed. But Monday is the first official day of the portal. Anyone in there right now is a grad student or they had a coaching change. We will start getting our roster turn tracker back up on the website. We'll get that going. So as we learn things, we'll pass those on to you all. Obviously, it'll be allowed on social media too. Similar thing with any guy that commits out of the portal. And then we're going to do our best to get the summer league tracker again. Let me tell you, that thing was insane last year. So I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze on that, but we'll try to highlight that.
And a couple of those leagues, like good luck getting stats out of the Tyler Summer League. Like I love it because they're right here, but it's like I don't know what those guys are doing.
Some of our guys that played there last year didn't even end up on a roster. I didn't know, except for the fact that you went to the game and texted me, said, "Hey, so and so's here."
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm watching Tyler Stott pitch right now. Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, but we'll see how things develop. I mean, just talking with Finney, it sounds like he's pretty confident, and a lot of the guys that he talked about are going to come back, but who knows?
I'm excited for summer ball. Yeah, the pilots start up on Thursday, so I'll be. I think the weather's supposed to be fine, so I'll be out there Thursday, and I think Saturday both. Hopefully, what do you say? Scotty is going to play there, and I think Kyle Edward. Yeah, I think a few guys are going to play there. So hopefully they'll be there. Again, sometimes our guys take like a week or two and rest and recover and then start. But if not, the pilots are fun either way. But it's a lot more fun when we have some of you guys. So if you're locally area, get over to Hampton. I know it's kind of a pain. I can't always go during the week. I'm only going Thursday because it's open night. But get over there if you're wherever you are, find some summer ball. There's a lot of really good college summer baseball that you can watch.
Yeah, I'll get Tehran hooked up with the Deltaville Deltas if nothing else happens there. So
there you go.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. We'll probably be back in about a month or so. You'll be sick and tired. We'll see.
We said the second Monday of every month. That's like the 9th. That's not that long. So we might come back in a few weeks.
That's true. And obviously we'll take a look at the draft as well. And then of course when guys commit and sign, because the good thing with baseball is they're going to be there for the season long before, because they have to enroll by a certain time in August to be at ODU. So we usually know that a little earlier than we do for say.
And I know a few of our alumni, they're playing pro right now, that have had some interest in coming on. So we'll try to work out. And Mondays are perfect because that's their off day of minor league baseball. So we have a few guys we'll try to bring on and talk to them how their minor league seasons and careers are going.
Yeah, and if you go to the Pride of ODU website, we do have that tracker of all the guys that are playing pro ball, indie ball. It's on there. I think we updated with Gio Rivera the other day for indie ball,
and we actually did update. Congrats to Jerry Young. He just got called up to the Mets.
Yes,
weekend. He DH'd for the Mets the other day. I don't know what he did last night, but so he hasn't been in the big leagues. He didn't get there last year, but he's been in the big leagues in parts of 22 and 23. So this is his first time up with the Mets this year. So congrats to JY. I mean, what an awesome guy. I went to Korea the second half of last year and got himself a big league contract, which is great because he said he loved it. He's like, they met me at the airport. It was crazy. It was very weird, but he enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I know Craig Brown and Connie Brown met up with Jacob and Trent in Augusta on their drive to Montgomery. Took them out to dinner. So we got a lot of Monarchs out there, maybe closer to you than you think. So keep an eye on that tracker. of course, we'll be glad to update it here in about a month and a half when
Yes.
a whole bunch more Monarchs go into the draft. We'll see if they end up Florida,
Hopefully.
Arizona fall or something like that. So
yeah.
That's it. Well, we appreciate all of you who've made it through 19 episodes of Hudson Homers this year. Congratulations. I'll give you a badge next time I see you for your commitment to the team. But no, this has been a lot of fun. It's been great having Finney, great having the players. Appreciate like Pierce Yarberry, Eric Bohannon, all of that crew that gives us a lot.
Everybody ODU sports. Every time
I
go to a lot of the games, and I'm they make sure they hook me up with a media pass all year, so I can go to any game and I take pictures and I share them. And they ask me like, can we do anything for you? I'm like, you guys let me hang out and take pictures. I'm just some dude. Like, yeah, trust me, I'm good. Like we're great. Yeah, they're awesome over there. I don't know that I've ever had a bad interaction with anybody involved in ODU sports, and they're just phenomenal people.
They always take good care of us. Seem like take good care of the teams as well. So always happy to work with them. And we did basically take over the coach's show for baseball this year, and it just worked. It just happens.
So, this happens, yeah. Sometimes.
Awesome. Well, make sure you stay subscribed. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. So that way when we drop an episode. Hopefully it'll be a similar timing, but we'll see. Yeah. And if you have ideas for shows that aren't crazy, feel free to let me know. Like, I'd love to go to Justin Verlander's house and interview him. But
it'd be cool. I'm not going to skydive for an episode. Yeah.
He doesn't respond to my text anymore. So,
now Ben, maybe get Ben. We'll see.
I might get Ben. Probably have to go on his show, but that'd be okay.
That's fine, man.
Yeah. Awesome. CB, it's also been a lot of fun doing this with you and talking ball.
Yeah, it's a great time, man. I'm sorry I talk so much and talk over you and interrupt. And as my mom would say right now, we're talking too long on this show, where all we do is talk. So I guess we need to get off of here, and we'll see y'all soon, because there's always plenty of ODU baseball to talk about. Yes, absolutely. Well, enjoy your summer, and be on the lookout for more stuff soon. Go Monarchs. Go Monarchs.